Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these, what did I even call it? Haul spotlight videos. See, I done forgot what it was. No, that wasn't a bit, I really did forget. But, Winchester compression formed hulls. Now, most people think the double A's whenever they hear that term, but they didn't just come in the double A format. This one here was a Mark V. And hopefully, as you can see, this does have a one-piece tapered base, just like the double A's. This one is a 16 gauge Winchester upland shell, a number 8 shot. This was a reassembly. And that one's hard to see inside of, really dark. There you go, now you can see it. Yep, again, a one-piece tapered hull. And that is 16 gauge. If you didn't know, the compression formed hulls did come in 16 gauge too. Excuse my voice, I have the flu or something, I don't know. But they also came in 28 gauge, obviously. They come in 410 too. Now this may come as a surprise to somebody. They also came in 8 gauge. I'll put a picture up right here showing the 8 gauge compression formed hulls. I don't know if they came in 10 gauge. I have never seen 10 gauge compression form shells, but if they did, and you guys know, let us know about it in the comments, excuse me. Again, you'll have to, you know, ignore the terrible sounding voice today, but it is what it is. Yeah, if you guys know the compression formed hulls came in 10 gauge, let us know. They did come in 8 though, and that is pretty cool. 8 gauge industrial. The AA line debuted in 1965, I believe in 12 and 20 gauge. If I'm wrong, correct me. But at least in 12 gauge they did for sure. The 28 gauge debuted in May of 1971, so about 6 years later. And that is from the information I have found online. That may not be 100% accurate, but I do know these came out in 65. And from what I can gather, the 28s and 410s followed in May of 1971. The 16 gauge never came in the AA form, branding I should say, but they, again, obviously made 16 gauge compression formed hulls. What's special about these compression forms? Well, they are, as I've already mentioned, a tapered hull of one-piece design, and they are probably the toughest, longest lasting hull to ever have been made. Maybe followed or possibly even outdone by Remington 10 gauge hulls that, you know, you can buy as a component, not, you know, loaded ammunition. But yeah, these hulls last a very long time too, and they're straight wall obviously. But being able to reuse a shell 10 to 20 times in 1965 was completely unheard of. These were designed for durability, long-lasting life, able to be used again, and again. If you guys don't know, AA is it was a class for this stuff right here. I don't know if I was pointing at that right. This stuff right here. I have to be picky with what I can say here on, you know, YouTube. But yeah, that's what they were designed for, competitions, things like that, and AA was a division or a class, I don't know. Sadly, all good things must come to an end. These were discontinued across the entire series, every gauge, every line. In about 2003, 2002 to 2003, in that area, there was maybe some crossover from what I was gathering information-wise. But 2003 seems to be the cutoff year for the compression formed hulls, and then it was switched over to AA HS. And I guess Winchester Super Target, Universal, and there's been some others in the HS base wad design, 2-piece tapered hull. The base wad is tapered, not the hull itself. I'll get one out and show you in just a second the difference in them. And there was a Generation 1 of the HS2 that many people probably don't know about. I have some of those as well. We'll take a look at in just a moment. But yeah, sadly, these are no longer around across the entire shotgun spectrum. The two main colors you'll see for a 12 gauge are red and silver. The modern version in the HS line is red and dark gray, similar to the color of that AA Super Handicap bottle back there. It's about that color of gray. Kind of ugly if you ask me, but it is what it is. The silver hull looks much much nicer. The entire line of AA's all had 8-point crimps across the entire line, except for the 410, which I do have. I just couldn't find them for the video. Those have a 6-point crimp, and the compression formed shells that are in other lines can have 6 or 8. Here is a 8-point crimp, 16 gauge, and I do have some 6 points over there too, but no need to drag those out. This right here is also a compression formed. As you can see, this one has a 6-point crimp. Let me make that look a little bit nicer real quick for you guys. There you go. Now you can tell it's a 6-point. Actually, speaking of this haul right here, I recorded this at the beginning of the video, the clip you're about to see, but I do have the precursor to the Mark V's as well, and that would be this haul right here, a Western Expert Mark V. This was 2.5 dram, 1 ounce of 7.5 shot, pretty common 20 gauge shell there. And this was Western Super X 7.5 shot. Does it say anything else? 20 gauge only. That's all it says. But we do have some really nice looking fancy ornate brass on there, if this camera would focus on it. There you go. Yeah, really nice looking brass on that one. But check this out. I'll explain or show why Winchester probably, or Western in this case, probably moved away from this old design and brought out the, don't you fall, the compression forms. If you don't know, the compression forms were, you know, a Winchester Western thing, not just Winchester. Anyway, check this out. Okay, so 2.5 inch 24 gauge here on the left, 2 3/4 inch 20 gauge here on the right. Same wad, the Claybuster white wad, tapered holes. Okay, so just to show you the bottoms of these, you can see the base wad in there and the base wad in there. No trickery going on here. We'll take this wad and drop it into this 20 gauge hole. Push it down. Come on, camera, focus. You can see that is as far as it will go. Now we take the same wad and put it into 24 gauge ramrod, definitely not a Sharpie, and you can see it actually goes in a lot farther. One big advantage to these compression formed 20 gauge holes, you know, at the time they came out, was they had a lot more capacity over these older Mark V 2 3/4 inch 20 gauge holes. As you can see, these have probably the capacity of maybe a 2 1/4 inch shell. Not much at all. You can actually see that base wad ends about right here where the bottom of the Sharpie is. That is quite a tall base wad. There ain't much room left. Well, there's a lot more room in these tapered holes, even though by modern standards these tapered holes don't have near the capacity of anything straight wall. Another advantage would be these wear out pretty quick. Yes, these have a fold crimp on them, kind of hard to see, but they were fold crimped. And well, the plastic on these guys right here is not very tough. It don't last very long. These right here are made of a much higher quality, much denser, longer lasting plastic. You can reassemble these 10 to 20 times easily, whereas these right here, you might be lucky to get 5. Also, fiber base wads, as everybody knows, ain't as good as plastic. They can dislodge, come loose. I've never had that happen to me personally, neither has Josh or anyone I know, but apparently that is a thing that can happen. But the fiber base wad, again, as you guys can see, really limits capacity. They can get wet, draw moisture, all that stuff. These, they don't have a base wad at all. It is a, again, one-piece hull. There you go, yeah. No separate base wad. So really, the AA, massive improvement over the precursor to it, the fiber base wad Mark V, for lack of a better term. And that one is, I believe both of these might be branded Western. Nope, this one's Winchester. Hard to see, come on. I guess it don't really matter, but there you go, Winchester. And this one is obviously branded Western, as you guys can see above the Super X logo. And the head stamp should say, yeah, WW for Winchester Western 20 gauge. So you see what I'm saying? The AA compression formed hulls in general were a massive improvement over the original fiber-based wad Mark V's and other shells like it. Yeah, just a massive upgrade for shotgun shells in general. But I guess that's really all the info there is to say about them. Not much else to say, guys. It's just a shotgun shell, one-piece tapered hull, and it happens to be the original version of it. Now, today we have stuff like the Remington STS, Gun Club, Nitro 27, Federal High Overall that are all one-piece tapered too, but they aren't the same as these Winchester compression forms. These hulls, the crimp memory is excellent. You about don't need a press to reassemble these. They are just the easiest hull ever to work with, and they're great. They're my favorite hull of all time. But I guess let's slap one of these together just for the sake of it. I guess we'll do 16 gauge because this press is set up in 16 gauge. This one's 10. Yes, I can do 12 gauge on it, but I want them to come out looking nice for the video. This is set up in 16 gauge, so we'll do 16 gauge. So another really nice thing about these compression formed hulls is the heads on them are legit brass. Well, sometimes you don't need to actually resize them. Let's see if this is going to give us any trouble. Very little effort. Push down on it real slow. And as you can see, that's just about falling off. Can I pull it off? Yep, sure can. Yeah, you don't always have to resize these old compression form shells. That is awesome. And that is because of the legit brass head on them. And I guess just to show that it's brass, for completion's sake, here's a magnet screwdriver. Won't stick to it. 20 gauge won't stick to it. Nope. 28. Nope. Get out of here. 12 gauges. Nope. But this Remington 10 gauge hull here, modern production, definitely sticks to it because it's brass plated steel. And if you don't know, most shells today are just, fell on the floor, are just brass plated steel, aside from the AA HS and the Remington STS, Nitro 27, Federal High Overall, things like that. The Gun Club is steel, the American Clay and Field is steel, but high-end target shells, for the most part, are the ones with brass these days, and everything else is steel. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this, but I'll mention it anyway for the people that don't. This being a tapered hull, you need a tapered wad. The bottom of this, yes, this is a 16 gauge wad, but the bottom of this steps down to about 18 gauge. It does decrease a good bit, but they conform to the bottom bowl-shaped taper of these compression formed hulls. We are just going to do an easy 1.25 ounce assembly here today of 6-shot. As you can see, the wad is down on the powder. Take a listen. Not rattling, good to go. Most of you guys watching this know that, that's the way to do it. Don't rely on the press. Do not rely on the press to get adequate wad pressure. I'm just going to leave that in. I messed up. You guys know what I mean. My voice is making it hard to speak right now. About every sentence I do, it feels like I'm going to cough, so yeah, you'll just have to forgive me this time. But I'm not giving out any specifics of what's going in this because this isn't a reassembly video. This is a haul spotlight video. 1.25 ounces of 6s. 547, that is 1.25 ounces. This has an 8-point crimp, so back station of the Lee Loadall. The 12 gauge is different. The 8 points in the front, I don't know why they do that, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and get this crimped. Alrighty, finishing the shell off right here. Lift up. I like to do this. Turn, pull down, hit the camera. You always got to do that. If you're filming this, make sure you hit the camera. And I think that's as good as it's going to get. So, that one looks pretty good. Deep set crimp. Again, 8-point. I don't know why that's there, but it is. The one I just threw together is right here. The center one is the same shell, but a like 5-time fired. And this one is a different era of the same hull, Winchester Upland. This is the Western Upland. Same hull though. This one has a 6-point crimp on it, and it had the heat sealed crimp where they melt the center of it. Kind of ugly, that heat sealed crimp thing is. It makes for ugly reassemblies, but it is what it is. The crimp itself looks pretty cool though. You don't see shells like that anymore. That's the original star crimp right there. But yeah, three pretty good looking shells. The compression form AA's reassemble, you know what I mean, like better than any other hull ever made. Now these aren't perfect, but that is just right off the press right here. No got BN2, no Reassembling, nothing like that. That was just straight off the press, and they look that good. If anyone's watching that hasn't seen our videos before, the Reassembling is this thing right here. See the tools we use everyday video and the GOP tools on Elite Load All video for more info about them. But basically, excuse me, they can take, this is 10 gauge, 2 3/4 inch by the way, they can take a brand new hull and make it look like it left the factory floor just off, well, any press. They do an amazing job, and the crimps on these are just as deep set as the fancy Italian tooling can do without having to use the tools. I may have messed that up there, I don't know. But anyways, the compression formed hulls can have a deep set crimp and a good looking crimp without any fancy tools, whereas with any other hull, to get crimps that look like that, you pretty much need the fancy Italian tooling to get a professional quality crimp. Okay, so let's play a game here. Can you guys tell me which of these three hulls right here are AA HS and which one is the original compression form AA? Now, if you guessed that this one is the AA HS, you're right. If you guessed this one was the AA HS, you're also right. This is the compression formed hull. Now, if you'll notice, take that away for a second, that's modern production AA HS. These outwardly look dang near identical. This one's been fired a few times, that's why it's darker and kind of toasty. But if this was a once fired, it would look just like that. This is a Gen 1 AA HS. If we look down inside these, you'll see this one on the left has a tall, separate red base wad. The one here on the right, again, compression formed, does not have a separate base wad. It's a one-piece hull. I think this shot right here, you can obviously see the difference. Now, the plastic on these Gen 1 AA HS appears to be the exact same composition as the compression form AA, but it's not. It's just the same sheen. The plastic on this hull is no different than the modern production AA HS. This still crushes fairly easy. It's not nearly as rigid and durable as the original compression formed. Now, I believe in 2004, they moved away from having the boxed in AA logo and they went to something like that. I know it's wore off. That's actually the best looking one I could find. I don't have many of these AA HS hulls. I gave them all to Josh. But yeah, they moved away from having the logo boxed in like it would be on the original to just having it no box, I guess. But modern AA HS hulls, as you can see, will have a gray or white separate base wad in there. They're white before you fire them, but let me get that fiber cushion white out of there. It's still in there. Oh well. They're white before you fire them, and then they turn gray after. But the easiest way to tell the difference between compression formed and HS, which means high strength, by the way, is outward appearance. You'll almost never find a boxed in focus. Guys, come on now. The flash was making it stay out of focus. But the easiest way to tell is 99% of the AA HS hulls will not have a boxed in logo. And if you look inside of it, you'll see a separate base wad, whether it be red or white. I've never seen any other color but red or white. Now that being said, load data between the two is completely interchangeable. There's no difference, just the base wad is different. They call the HS high strength, even though plenty of people have complained, hey, these crush too easy, or hey, these don't crimp as nice, or things like that. Oh, they don't last as long. Some people say the HS lasts longer. In our experience, the compression form lasts longer. That's just us. It varies. I guess it varies what dust, you know what I mean, you use. It varies how the velocity, shot material, everything goes into it. But using that one no, sorry, it wasn't that one. It was this one. And AA HS versus CF. The CF lasts longer with that and a straight ounce and an eighth. Nothing special. 1200 FPS. Yeah, compression form lasts longer. Now, on the other hand, if you take this stuff back here and do, like, say, ounce and a half, then yes, the pedals on the, that's not even what I wanted to grab. The pedals on the original compression formed hulls will split faster because it burns hotter, burns longer, all that stuff. It melts the plastic, whereas the HS hulls, they are a little bit waxier. They don't tend to split and melt with these slower burning dusts and the Magnum assemblies. Just one thing we've noticed, if you guys have the same experience or different, let us know in the comments. Anyways, guys, I know this video was kind of all over the place. I jumped from one thing to another several times. I recorded the 24 20 gauge clip before any of the rest of it, so this is going to be an editing nightmare for me. Hopefully it comes out okay. Again, I'm kind of sick and my brain is kind of all over the place right now. I don't feel very good, but still wanted to make a video. It's always fun, you guys know that. I just hope it comes out cohesive and flows okay. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.